Jake, come on up, friend. I gave you the link. But there you go. What's up, my friend? Brother of humanity, here you go.
Assalamu alaikum.
Hey, how's it going?
He can't say that to you. You're a Christian, dude. He can't say alaikum salam. You know this.
Wa alaikum, wa alaikum.
Take it easy, man. Don't do that. Anyway, I'm just here. You guys know. And by the way, Jake, this was impromptu. I was actually going to say, I read your document and he is condemned. I was actually going to say, yeah, I read the document. He was condemned for things, but I'm going to let you guys talk. I'm just sitting here. Go ahead. Talk. What do you guys want to talk? Go ahead.
I mean, they just got started, so I only heard a little bit of what the response was. I mean,
can you sum up for Jake?
Yeah.
Because his point is, to repeat for everyone who didn't listen. Seventh Ecumenical Council, which they don't accept, by the way, guys, they're Miaphysites, condemned Eusebius because of the statements he said about Christ. So what was your response at Agan, so he can know what you're saying?
Yeah. The epistle that was brought up at Nicaea II, Athanasius mentions was one of those documents written prior to Nicaea. And after Nicaea, Eusebius writes a letter to his own church affirming the Creed of Nicaea.
Yeah, so I'm familiar with the letter. I'm familiar with Athanasius's statements regarding Eusebius after the council. So we can get into that if you'd like. But I just want to know what is your position on what the Second Council of Nicaea actually states.
So we don't hold this council authoritative. So
yeah, that's true.
Really don't care what the council says. But
Can
just that one specific letter.
I know, but I'm saying, sorry to cut you off, but because Sam is a Catholic, and that was the initial kind of discussion. I even admitted to you, Sam. I said it.
No, I know you did say that. That's why I want to ask Egan a question. Egan,
yeah,
you guys know more. So for Catholics, Eastern Orthodox, they're stuck with the Seventh Ecumenical Council and its condemnation of Eusebius, right?
More so Eastern Orthodox. They hold all acts are authoritative. Roman Catholics take the position it's only that which is decreed on faith and morals and matters of fact can be aired in councils.
So just so we can, because I'm learning too, and I'm not going to, I just want clarification. So the statements made, though the discussion, Catholics say that's not binding on them?
Yeah, they could take that position. They do it on a multitude of things.
Okay. But Eastern Orthodox, they're stuck?
Mainly if they hold a strict, what's called conciliar fundamentalism, because of their Fifth Palamite Synod. It takes a view that you can't just affirm the definition of a council, you have to also affirm its acts.
Yeah, can I respond to that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so it's true that not every act or every statement within the acts of the councils, even the ecumenical councils, are considered to be dogma, right? That you must affirm as a Catholic. However, it's not, I'm not saying that you're intentionally presenting it this way, but it's not that they're not considered evidence for a specific position. They're not just dismissed out of hand in the sense that you can say, oh, well, it's just in an act of the council, so I'm not beholden to it at all. No, it is relevant as evidence in the discussion.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you. So 100%, especially for Eastern Orthodox. But I'm telling you, especially this is going to help you out for your future arguments. For Roman Catholics specifically, there is nothing contradictory in their system if they say the acts of a council made an error. Like they can take that position wholeheartedly, and they do it all the time. So they're only held on what's spoken of in concerning matters of faith and morals. So they would agree with the council. The Arianism that the council is interpreting out of that document is condemned, right? That's what they can hold. But they could completely, wholeheartedly disregard those citations of Eusebius and say they were, read out of context. Stephen or whatever his name was who cited him, he didn't understand the passage. That's completely open in Roman Catholicism. So once again, I'm telling you this as an outsider. I'm not Roman Catholic or Eastern Orthodox.
I'm well aware of the position of the Catholics on the acts. But what I'm trying to say to you is it's not just one person. If we go to the quotes, if you want, we can pull them up and look at them. It's not just one person reading something out and then, that's it. No, the council itself proclaims anathema upon Eusebius and his writings.
Yeah, those can also be, not considered matters of faith and morals, according
So
to
an
Catholicism.
example, Jake, an example for you. So, for example, in the Syro Malabar Catholic rite, they venerate Theodore and Nestorius, who
What? Say that again. Wait, what?
the Syro Malabar rite
Yeah, they have a
Catholics.
feast day.
Catholics?
Yeah, they officially
Come on, man.
venerate Nestorius and Theodore.
Why didn't you tell me this, man?
I wasn't discussing that. Yeah.
No, I'm
No,
saying.
he's telling me that I should have told him.
Wow.
The example is that
Wow.
anathemas are not necessarily held to be infallible by the Roman Catholic Church.
Yeah, for an example, I'll give more
Sorry,
examples.
say that again. I missed you there. What was the last statement?
If the Catholic Church has traditionally anathematized certain individuals, those anathemas are not necessarily held to be infallible.
Yeah, I can give more examples.
But again, I think we're speaking past each other. I'm not saying that they're infallible and that they're dogma and you must accept it. That's not what I'm claiming. I'm claiming that they are evidence in support of the position that I was representing.
No
That's
problem.
what I'm saying.
We agree.
Yeah.
But the whole idea is,
as long as we agree on that, that's basically it. I mean, if Sam or Catholic wants to take the position that all of these statements in the Acts of the Councils where Eusebius was formally condemned, that they reject them, I mean, so be it. I mean, I personally don't think that position really makes much sense when you, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a Catholic, so I'm not in that position, but it's a hard pill for me to swallow that these councils are coming together and they're presenting this evidence, and then not just one person. It's not just Stephen, the monk, who, quotes this text and then it just continues on to another topic. It says that the Holy Council anathematizing them. It's as if they're in unison against this individual. So to me, it's no small matter to just kind of brush aside.
Sure. Let me ask you this.
Daniel, can I ask so that this will tie in what he said? Now, you mentioned that later he wrote a letter agreeing thoroughly with the Trinitarianism of Athanasius. So the question is, I know you don't accept the council, but educate us. Why then did the Second Council of Nicaea not bring up that letter where he recanted, showing that he changed his position? Why did they still go ahead and condemn him? So as you're answering him, keep that in mind, because we're learning.
You're asking them, right, Sam?
Yeah, them. Those two, because
I just want to say, I do cover this letter in my book because I've written the book on the subject. I'm waiting to publish it. So I'm well aware of the letter, and I'd be happy to go through it. And I don't think it supports what you guys are claiming, but go ahead. You can answer.
Yeah. And then after that, you can go through if you guys want. It's up to you. I'm trying to learn too. So if I cut you off, I'm learning. I'm the student. So go ahead.
Yeah. The historical context of Nicaea II is it's trying to throw Eusebius wholeheartedly under the bus because of his anti-iconic motivations. That's the whole idea. It's not making some formal examination posthumously of his Trinitarian convictions. It's just looking for anything to throw him kind of under the bus in order to defend iconography. So I don't think it would have been concerned with these letters. Sorry?
They relate the two. If you read carefully,
yes,
their argument is actually in light of his subordinationist position or whatever you want to call it, how they see it. That's what is affecting his view on the icon. Correct.
That's what I told Sam before you came up. The whole idea was the lesser you have Eusebius in his tridology, the lesser the Son is an icon of the Father. It says in Colossians 1:15. And therefore, if you have an impeded view of the Trinity, it would explain away in their eyes Eusebius's lesser view on iconography. Because look, he doesn't think the Son is a full icon of the Father. Of course, he rejects iconography. That's the thought process behind Nicaea II.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Now, did you want to say something to what he said about the letter, you guys? Because you mentioned.
Yeah, go ahead. You go ahead, say what you want about the letter, and then I'll give my 2 cents on it.
Yeah, so this letter is invoked even in my tradition by St. Severus of Antioch against John the Grammarian. that after Eusebius signed on to Nicaea, because Athanasius in one of his works, he basically says Eusebius rejected the council, then later affirmed it. In this letter, he cites the entirety of the Nicene Creed and gives further affirmations, denying that there's a time where the Son was not. He affirms that he is consubstantial with the Father. So I'm concerned. What's your opinion on that letter?
Oh, okay. So let me just pull it up here.
Yeah. And you also said it's on New Advent, right, Hagen?
Yes.
Yeah, if you,
on New
Sam,
Advent,
if you
Lutheran
want to
Advent.
just
Yeah,
pull it up on New Advent, and then I could just read it from there.
Because I want to
that-
know where it's too.
I'm just trying to find it where it is in my book, right?
No, I'll get it. I'll get it here. Okay, so I'm here. This is New Advent. Let me enlarge it. But you tell me where I'm supposed to go.
Letter on the Council of Nicaea. Just Control F.
Oh, that's simple, dude. Shoot, man. Hagen, man. I know I'm dumb, but come on, man. Letter. You said it will say letter of Council of Nicaea.
Yeah, do
Yeah,
control. Yeah,
right
right.
here. Say what? Hold on. Let me go a little larger. Let me go larger. Is this large enough? Can you see?
Yeah, that's fine for me.
All right. So what do you want me to screen down to?
Yeah, 1 second.
The whole thing is pretty on topic, but
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind reading the whole thing if you want, but the first thing to point out is in the beginning of the letter, Eusebius is basically writing this letter to his community to explain why he has signed off on the creed, because some people were concerned about that, why he would do this. Because as you know, initially he was arguing against the proto-Orthodox position, or whatever you like to call it. So what winds up happening is he writes the letter to his community, and he starts off in the beginning by listing what his preferred language of the creed actually is. So he gives an alternative creed in the beginning of the letter. And that's where you see it starting after, I think, number 2 there on the second paragraph. So when you compare Eusebius's preferred language of the creed in the beginning part with Nicaea, at which he lists later on, conspicuously missing is the homoousion doctrine, the doctrine of eternal generation of the Son. Several key facts or points of doctrine are missing from the creed that Eusebius presents in the beginning and that he prefers. That's the first thing to note. Second thing to note is when he goes on to explaining the Creed of Nicaea, he gives his own explanation of this. One of the points, if you scroll down, Sam, that I think is important for us to look at. Yeah, keep going.
Okay.
I'm not sure what the number is exactly.
What are you looking for?
1 second. Keep going. Yeah, keep going down. So now this part here is where he starts quoting the Creed at Nicaea. So continued going down further, where he then gives his explanation of certain things and why he explains why he didn't have a problem with it. Okay. Yeah, continue going down a little bit. Yeah. Okay, stop there. So go right there at 9, right? So he says here, moreover, to anathematize, before his generation he was not. In other words, that phrase in the creed, why did he accept this? He said, did not seem preposterous, in that it is confessed by all that the Son of God was before the generation according to the flesh. So if you see his explanation here, his explanation is not, it's not explicitly what Nicaea really wanted to say. Okay. He's in my opinion, it's kind of a cop-out. He's saying, well, we can anathematize before his generation he was not, because we believe the Son pre-existed his human birth in some respect. But he's not affirming the classical doctrine of eternal generation in the way that Athanasius would view it, or the other, what I would call those faithful to what Nicaea was trying to say. So, I mean, we can go into more points here, but I don't want to take up too much time. But basically, my two main points are this. The first point is that he starts off by providing an alternative creed in the beginning with different wording, and conspicuously missing from that is homoousion doctrine, the eternal generation of the Son. I think there was one or two other points, but I can't remember off the top of my head. I wrote about it in this chapter. And then the second thing is that when you look at his explanation of why certain things that he accepted, it's fully consistent with the Arian position, right? Like an Arian, for example, would accept what he says here in paragraph 9, that, okay, yeah, the Son had a pre-existence and generation, before he was human, but nevertheless, that doesn't go far enough to getting you towards, what Nicaea actually wants to say. But I think what's actually more important here is, besides this letter, you guys can come in on it and critique whatever I said, but I think more importantly is to see Athanasius's reception of Eusebius later on. And I think it supports my theory and of what he actually thought about Eusebius. But go ahead.
Yeah, very quickly on that. Yeah,
Hagen, you're
Here is he breaking up? Like he's it's all bad now. Is that
Oh,
me? Or him?
No, it's him. It's him.
Sound like he just swallowed his mic there.
As you guys do it, I'm gonna go get my drink.
it's better, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah. So he 100% agree with you. He did not prefer the homoousion formula. He did not. That's not his preferred term. He's trying to justify to his own church, using their own language, why the Nicene Creed is justifiable. But the really important parts are from paragraph 6 to 7. I think that's the most important part. Sam isn't here.
Yeah, no, I'm
Sorry.
here, I'm here.
You're here?
You want me to go to paragraph 6 and 7?
Yeah, to read them very, very quickly.
So repeat what you said. He doesn't like to use the word homoousion. Why again?
Yeah, he's trying to make the creed more tasteable to his own church, which
Okay.
they're not familiar with this terminology.
Right here.
Yeah. He says, in the same way, we also admitted begotten, not made, or not created. Since the council alleged that made was an appellation common to the other creatures which came to be through the Son, to whom the Son had no likeness. Wherefore, say they, he was not a work resembling the things which through him came to be, but was of an essence which is too high for any level, for the level of any work, in which the divine oracles teach to have been generated from the Father. The mode of generation being inscrutable, incalculable to every originated nature. And then paragraph 7. So too, on examination, there are grounds for saying that the Son is one in essence, homoousion. So sure, at the beginning, his own preferred term, it doesn't have it, but he still defends the phrase. He says, the Son is one in essence with the Father, not in the way of bodies, nor like mortal beings, for he is not such by division of essence or by severance, no, nor by any affection or alteration or changing of the Father's essence and power. Since from all such the unoriginate nature of the Father is alien, but because one in essence with the Father suggests that the Son of God bears no resemblance to the originated creatures, but that to his Father alone who begot him, he is in every way assimilated, and that he is not of any other subsistence and essence, but from the Father, to which term also thus interpreted, it appeared well to assent, since we were aware that even among the ancients, some learned and illustrious bishops and writers have used the term homoousion in their theological teaching concerning the Father and Son. So two things of note here. It's not his preferred terminology, but he lawyers for it. So it's completely fine. His essence is greater than any creature. He is not in any way related to the semblance of other creatures. And secondly, he proves that the word was in use way before Nicaea. The reason he's trying to be more nice towards his church and not using words that's going to scare them is because homoousion at this time has a very negative connotation. I'm sure you would know it was condemned at the Synod of Antioch in 268 and 269 against Paul of Samosata.
Yeah.
And the idea was ousia, as it was used in Aristotle, had two senses, right? The primary ousia, the secondary ousia, right? Individuals, that would be the primary, and then what's shared, the secondary ousia. So invoking homoousion it would entail for a lot of listeners that the Father and the Son were completely the same individual. They would have no distinction, or it would seem as if something from the Father was then kind of taken out of the Father and moved into another body, which is what Eusebius mentions in paragraph 6 and 7. So, sure, it might not be like a precise.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to agree with you. Yeah, he's concerned with someone taking this, having this vision of the Father begetting the Son is like the Father kind of like losing something from himself or ripping a piece of him off.
Some abscission,
that
right?
becomes, he wants to avoid any thought of that for sure.
Richard Price just came out with a book. He did all the acts of the councils when we talk about them, Chalcedon, Nicaea II, whatever. He just did his Nicaea one, Nicaea 325. It just came out on December 31st, that passed. And he talks about this in particular, and he explains the hesitation of this party in accepting homoousios, in that they are rejecting more so or scared of, like Agan gives the first reason mainly, which is they are just trying to affirm that it is not meant that the Son is the same individual as the Father. That's what they're trying to stay away from.
Right.
Yeah, I understand that was a concern, and that terms like even ousia and hypostasis were sometimes seen synonymous. So there was a lot of confusion around that time over certain
one last thing I was going to add very quickly. I don't think picking on the choice of language is of any importance, because, for example, fun fact, not a lot of people know, especially in the chat, Athanasius did not prefer three hypostases language. He was a supporter of Paulinus. He spoke of one hypostasis in the Trinity, as it was said in the Nicene Creed. But just like Eusebius, the same way Eusebius justifies the statement for his audience, Athanasius does the same in the Tome to the Antiochians. He writes saying,
he does later on. He accepts both of them. He just says that you have to, it could be one person or three persons, or phrased in that way. It just has to be understood with the correct meaning, and that a correct meaning could be applied to either one. So he kind of is accepting of that. Yeah, I agree.
It seems we're in agreement more than we disagree, I guess.